This is what the explosion box looks like finished. I've taken all the eggs out just so you can see all the layers. So here we are with the bunny in the center, and he's just adhered with some glue dots on the base. But you can see the layers starting from the center out. We have the small bunnies hopping around and the little butterflies. And then the next layer, we have sweet little you. Hello. Pocket for our message tag, which is where you can write the message. Our built up flower. And then the next layer on the outside has for everything you are to me, just for you. Butterfly landing on a branch and a sunshiny daisy. And I'll show you how you can put all of those elements together now in this easy tutorial. So let's have some fun making this gorgeous little Easter bunny explosion box. I found this gorgeous little plush rabbit. He's really gorgeous, soft and adorable, and I'm going to be using him as part of my home decor for Easter. I also found these little packets of tiny little baby bunnies, and I thought what a great thing to have in my card making class. Some of these little flock bunnies, they're absolutely adorable. I'll show you one out of the bag. Very soft, very cute. So I'm going to make an exploding box with the bunny inside, and he's going to be right in the center of the box. Now the papers that I'm using are from the Watercolor Wonder paper. This one's lovely with big splashes of watercolor on it, and the zigzags, some simple pieces, lovely soft florals. Now the crumb cake piece, which will be the largest piece, is 9 inches by 9 inches. The Island Indigo piece, which is our next piece, is 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. And the Tangerine Tango piece is 6 inches by 6 inches. So with our 6 inch, we're going to start at the 2 inch and the 4 inch mark, and we're going to score 2 inches and 4 inches. Then turn it around and score 2 inches and 4 inches again down the other side. So if you can see, we now have a grid, simple grid pattern. We're going to cut with scissors these 4 corners. Just fold your score lines. So for the Island Indigo piece, you're going to take your 7.5 inch square piece of Island Indigo and score it at 2.5 and at 5 inches. Give it a turn and same again. And you're going to remove the 4 squares on the outside corners. And just fold up all those score lines. This is your crumb cake 9 inch by 9 inch piece, and we're going to score this at 3 inches and 6 inches. And then give it one turn and same again, score at 3 inches and 6 inches. And cut away the 4 corners. And fold up your edges, give them a bit of a crease, and there's the basis for your explosion box. So the top of the box will be measuring 5 1/8 inch square, and I'm just adding that 1/8 of an inch so that when we pop it on the box, it's not going to be too firm. And we're going to score it at 1 inch and turn it around and score it 1 inch on all 4 sides. And we're just going to cut the bottom 2 pieces all the way up to the first fold, and then turn it all the way around to the top and do the same thing. And just lightly score it with your hands. And just one more thing I like to do with this lid is to cut some V's, which just helps it fold a little bit neater. You cut a very fine V point into each of the tabs. Remember, when you're making boxes, the only part that you generally cut anything away is the end tabs, not this middle piece. So you want to just cut from these ends. Just a small V wedge. So there's your box lid ready for decorating. All right, there's the basis of your box. Now we're going to add some decorations. So I have 5 pieces that measure 2 3/4 inches square. In the same paper, I've cut 2 3/4 inches and 3/4 of an inch rectangle. So there are 4 of those as well. That'll be on our lid, the sides of our lid. Then for the inside of the box, I've cut 4 pieces at 2 3/4 inches square. Then for the next size, I have 4 pieces at 2 1/4 inches square, and another 4 pieces at 2 1/4 inches square. 1 3/4 inch square, I have 4 pieces of that, and then I've cut 5 pieces because we're going to have to line the very bottom of the box as well, because this is, you'll see the inside of the box at the same 1 3/4 inches square. So they're all your measurements for your layering pieces. We'll start with the outside of the box. You don't need to do the base of the box because that's right on the bottom. You won't be seeing that piece. Already that has reinforced your box, so the sides are starting to be really quite strong. Now let's do the inside layers here. And here I'm going to make sure they line up. What I mean by that is you can see how I'm lining them up so that they're facing the right direction. So there's your outside and inside layers completed. Now for the lid. And the outside. And there's your middle piece. And in this case, you'll want to put a piece in the base because you'll actually be seeing this when the card is open. And there's all your layers ready. Now I'm just going to get some sticky strip and off the lid. When you're making the lid, you just want to line up those little edges there so it's a nice squared lid. I'm going to use some Tombow to adhere these boxes together. Once you've stuck that all together, you can check that the lid fits, which it should do because I've added an extra 1/8 of an inch when I was making that. There's your box all put together. Now when you're ready to decorate your box, this is when it becomes really fun. You've got a lot of sides to decorate. You've got the top, you could decorate the front, but I don't want to give away too much of what's inside. So I'm going to mainly be decorating all the inside panels. First up is baked brown sugar on Daffodil Delight. And I'm going to cut that out with Blossom Punch. I'm just going to bend up the petals. You could use your bone folder for this if you wanted to, and just pop it on with a dimensional. And that's going to go on the inside front panel. There's our first embellishment. Now I'm coming around to here and I want to put a greeting on here from Label Love, just for you. And I'm going to pop this up on a second frame. So I'm going to punch out some Tangerine Tango first. Then I'm going to stamp on Whisper White, the Just For You image. I'm going to use Crisp Cantaloupe, which is a much lighter version of the Tangerine Tangos. Just punch that out with your coordinating punch. And then to pop this up is quite simple. You're just going to cut this piece in half. There's your layered piece, ready for a dimensional. And that can go on the opposite side, inside the front cover. And make sure that when you open up your card, it's facing the right way so you can read it. Now for this larger piece, 2 butterfly punches. that coordinate with the Papillon Potpourri stamp set. On some Whisper White cardstock, I'm going to stamp these in Island Indigo. And again, I like to just fold the wings up a little bit with my fingers, or you could use your bone folder so that it looks like the butterfly's flying. And again, with a smaller piece. You can attach these as two separate butterflies, but what I'm going to do is layer them so that this looks like a butterfly with double wings. You only need a half-dimensional. There we are. And a full dimensional fits on this butterfly perfectly if you tilt it to the side. I'll show you here. Just give it a tilt and it fits on perfectly. And just pop the smaller butterfly in the center of the large one. Just make sure it doesn't go outside the edges. This sentiment I've chosen from Petite Pears because there are a whole different series of sentiments going into this explosion box, and I want a little sentiment on each of the layers. So this will be for everything you are to me. I'm using Gumball Green and my 1 3/4 inch by 7/8 inch oval punch. And I'm going to use the coordinating scalloped oval in Gumball Green cardstock. I'm going to snail this to the scallop and then pop that up on 2 dimensionals. So here's your first inside layers finished. I'm going to use the Hello from Friendship Preserves. So I'm going to stamp Hello in Gumball Green and clean my stamp off, and I'm going to stamp it a second time in Island Indigo. And I'm taking the smallest of the Window Frames collection framelets, and I'm going to cut both of those out using that framelit in the big shot. And I'm going to cut out across the center of the Hello, and I'm going to pop that up over the top of the center with half a dimensional on each side, which gives you that lovely layered effect. And then I'm going to use some more dimensionals to pop that onto the next layer. I'm going to use one of the combinations I've used on this sweet little tag topper box that I made using the watercolor paper. There's no stamping, it's just using punches. What I've used is brushed silver, Island Indigo and Gumball Green. So I'm going to recreate this little guy in the next layer. The brushed silver first. I'm going to use the largest flower from the boho blossoms in the Island Indigo and the smallest rounded flower with Gumball Green. And we're just going to use dimensionals to pop this up as well. I'm going to be using the Hearts a Flutter stamp set and the Perfectly You Hostess set, and I'm going to use Sweet Little You just here. So I'm inking the larger heart, which has the lacy edge, with Tangerine Tango ink, and then Whisper White for the center with Tangerine Tango. And the sentiment says Sweet Little You. And then just cut them out with your framelits from the Hearts a Flutter set. I'm going to use the large and the small heart. Just pop these up with dimensionals again. And now I'm going to create a little tag pocket using the same paper and just adhering it so that you can lift out a little message where you can write your message for this little box. For the pocket, you're going to need the scallop tag topper punch. Pop in your Whisper White cardstock that's cut just under 2 inches. Create the little tag, and this is going to be the message that is going to slide in and out. You can use the corner rounder punch. I'm going to use the envelope punch board, which also has a corner rounder at the top. So there's your little tab that you're going to write your message on. We want this to measure 2 1/4 inches, which is going to give us enough room to slide that pocket in and out. It's a 3 inch by 3 inch piece, 1/8 of an inch on 3 sides. You're just going to fold those pieces together. And I'm going to run this through with a framelit to cut a little indent in the pocket here so it will fit nicely. I'm going to use the Apothecary Accents dies, and I'm going to use this die here, and I'm going to be cutting about half of this piece out using this die. So what you'll get from this shape is something that looks like this. Now remember, I've kept the folded pieces underneath, and then I've cut out this shape here, which is going to give you a nice little pocket to put your message in. Double-sided tape will work really well here. You can see how that's going to adhere into there, and that's going to be our little pocket to put our message in. Now, because this is white on white paper, I'm going to get my sponge out and do some sponging around all the edges of this piece here. So I'm going to sponge the edges with Daffodil Delight, which ties in nicely with the deeper crushed curry in the flowers and in the spots. And I'm going to sponge all around the edges as well. So there's where your message will be. And just so that that's easy to find, I'm going to put a tiny piece of ribbon on the top there. I'm using a piece of gumball green satin stitch ribbon. Just thread that through, and I'm going to tie it off with a piece of baker's twine and just cut the ends off. One of the things that I forgot to put in with my first layer, where my little indigo blue butterfly is a gumball green leaf for the butterfly to land on, and that's a framelit from the Secret Garden set. So I'm going to just grab my Tombow and adhere that now. And I'm going to use the Itty Bitty Punch set and just use the 2 small flowers from that set. And with these you can use your paper scorer, and if you have a Stampin' Pierce mat, this is perfect for this. And you're just going to grab your scoring tool and with the large size just poke into the center of those. Now I have 3 little flowers to decorate, and I'm also going to choose one of my little bunnies. Here's a cute little bunny and some flowers. So he'll be tombowed on. So there's our little bunny. I'll just bring that in close so you can see how I've done that. And our tiny little flowers, which will also, they're going to go on with glue dots because they're too small for a dimensional, and I'm going to roll the glue dot. Take some Daffodil Delight cardstock, the butterfly from the Papillon Potpourri stamp set. I'm using this small one here. And I'm going to use baked brown sugar just so that the details will show up on the Daffodil Delight cardstock. I'm going to stamp 2 of these and punch them out with a small butterfly punch. Pop up the wings a little, half a dimensional on the back. On the opposite corner. You want 2 of these. So there's your inside layers. I've kept these quite simple because there's going to be a lot of action going on in the middle. We're going to have our bunny. We're going to have our cavorting bunnies around the edges. So I'm going to pop a few little bunnies. And I think I'll pop these up on dimensionals as well. I want to make sure that the bunny stays upright. So for this, I'm going to use glue dots so he'll easily pop out of there if somebody wants to play with this little bunny. Put a couple of glue dots on the bottom of your bunny. And then just adhere him firmly on a diagonal so that he'll sit upright. I found these Cadbury mini eggs, which are called Milk Chocolate Delights. And they are eggs with a candy shell, but they're in the most gorgeous soft colours. Aren't they pretty? And try and hold it all together and then just tumble the eggs in. Now grab your lid. And we still need to decorate the outside of the box. What I'm going to do for that is to keep it really simple because I don't want to give away too much of what's inside. I want all the excitement to be on the inside, and all I want on the outside is a simple ribbon with a gift tag. So take your gumball green satin stitch ribbon and wrap it around your box, just like you're wrapping a gift. Using the Hearts a Flutter stamp set, this part here, matching framelit, and the banner greetings, Friends Forever. And I'm also going to use the petite petals, this little flower here, and the coordinating punch. Crisp Cantaloupe and Tangerine Tango ink. And I'm going to run that through the Big Shot with the matching framelit. Then I'm going to use some Island Indigo on Whisper White for the next little banner, which is from a Hostess stamp set from Banner Greetings. This is a lovely stamp set, and you'll get this if you're a hostess. If you want to host a party with me, just let me know and get a couple of friends together and you can qualify for one of the Hostess sets in the catalogue. I'm just going to cut this out, leaving a small border of white around the edge. And now I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight ink for the Petite Petal stamp set. I'm using this flower here. And I'm going to stack these or stagger them. So I'm going to use my snail for that. Pop this one up with a dimensional. Put a rhinestone in the centre. I'm going to take one of the large rhinestones from the regular pack. What a lovely Easter gift to give to a friend. Look at all these yummy eggs, and I have to tell you, I have tested them and they are delicious. And there's this cute little tiny bunny right in the center as a little extra surprise. So how cute is this little Easter explosion box? It's really fun to make and it doesn't take as long as you would imagine. Putting the box together is really quite simple. You can have fun with all the punches and framelits that you have in your stash. You don't need to use the same decorations that I've used, but it's just going to give you an idea of the kinds of things that you can put into one of these explosion boxes and how much detail you can really get just using punches, coordinating stamps and framelits. I hope you've enjoyed today's class. I hope you're going to give this explosion box a go. If you'd like to join my team of demonstrators, hop on over to my blog as well. Happy crafting and have a wonderfully creative day. Bye for now.